All right, Inappropriate Earl's back, and I've been after this interview for a long time. Welcome, Super Agent Marty Power, and just kidding. Just I do my research. A lot of people ask me if I'm related to this next guest because of his last name, the great Jamie Kennedy.
Dude, what's up, bro?
I mean, because my aunt is Ethel Kennedy, people always think you and I are somehow related.
Yeah, so you're
I'm a skakel.
Yeah.
I mean, this is about you, but just
I'd like to get a little bit. No, I would like to get a little backstory. Are you Hyannisport?
No, we were Bel Air.
Your whole life?
I'm switching glasses. Yeah, I was born and raised in the hills of Bel Air. Not bragging, it's just where I was.
Tough. The slums of Bel Air.
I mean, when your neighbors were Kareem,
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson,
Yeah.
when he had money.
Rockingham.
No, this is Bel Air. He used to live in Bel Air
Oh. That was Brentwood.
before he butchered two people.
Yeah.
And then who else was there? James Caan.
Yeah.
Will Chamberlain. I mean, it was like a who's who of.
By Charing Cross?
I'll give out the address: 10500 Roca Place, which is
How far from Ronald Reagan's?
It's about a mile up in the Bel Air Hotel.
Oh, dude, I've had some wonderful late night.
Oh, I bet you have
snacks at the Bel Air Hotel. Just actual, like a plate of Gruyere. Is that how you say it?
It's the best.
It's the best.
Just the vibe. It's kind of hidden.
Oh, it's amazing.
Especially for celebrities. You know, I would imagine that would be their hotel of choice to do whatever.
Well, the Polo Lounge was like good, but Bel Air was just way sneakier.
Well, like if you had a date with, let's just say Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Possibly.
Who you did date.
Yes.
I would think the Bel Air Hotel would be a good option just because there's not really a lot of paparazzi there. None that I know of.
None.
So you guys could have a peaceful dinner or, whatever.
Yes, they're very chill. But also, they were redoing it.
Yeah, the Prince of Brunei, I think, owns... I think he might own both the Bel Air and Beverly Hills Hotel. So it's fixed or renovated. But I know he got into some trouble for possibly being he made some anti-gay statements.
Yeah, he's got a few problems.
And not the greatest lover of women's rights.
Yeah.
So people were protesting, but I mean, that's where I grew up.
You were born out here?
Born and raised.
So wait, but you are a Kennedy.
No, I'm a Skakel.
But you were by marriage.
Right. Ethel married Ethel was my dad's sister, or is my dad's sister. She married Bobby Kennedy.
So I think I'm related to you.
I mean,
because they say we're all related.
Well, Kennedys, like you grew up in Philly, right?
Philly.
Or were born in Philly.
Yeah.
And that's close enough to like Connecticut, Hyannisport. I mean, it's a huge. I mean, I have so many first cousins. I've never met them all.
Yeah, I know. And there's a big tribe in Ireland that goes back, and the Kennedy tribe, I believe, is from like Donegal or Cork.
And so were the Skakels.
Yeah, and Skakels are.
And, the Skakels aren't well known. Maybe one is for all the wrong reasons, but, we don't have to talk about that trial. And a lot of them were from Ireland too. So
yeah,
it was like the merging of two gigantic Irish Catholic families.
I know, but people have often said to me, "Do you know Earl Skakel? You guys might be related," and we've never really met.
You'd think
but we're in different scenes. But we're in the scene. But
you're in the successful one.
No, I mean, yeah, I do all right. But I see you when I go to the store, but usually different times, and you don't.
Yeah, you're on at 10. I'm on at 3 a.m. Well, no, it is because we've been. I've been in comedy like 20 years. I guess you'd think we would have run into each other at some point.
Yeah.
But that's how big and small the comedy community is.
Yeah, but do you feel that I feel that it's much more interwoven now? Because like just right now, like you and me meeting, you reached out and you definitely, obviously, I know a lot of people that you know, and I feel that the community now is much more connected.
Well, I think there's a lot more actors getting into stand-up, like successful actors.
Yeah.
So I think more people are getting into the field than have ever been in. But with you, I'm obsessed with one of your movies, Boiler Room. I mean, it's hard to pick what I want to talk to you with because your IMDb page is like Emmett Walsh's, like hundreds of like projects. But Boiler Room is just like a guilty pleasure of mine.
When did you discover it?
I'll never forget. It was at the Beverly Center Theater, and this was when the Beverly Center had that movie theater on the the 8th floor. I think now it's an H&M store. And my friend Eric, who I'm not name dropping, or it's the only way to explain the story. He worked for Scott Rudin, and he was also a guy by the name of John Hertzfeld, who like directed I think Stallone's Cobra and other things.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, hey, I've heard a lot of good things about this movie, Boiler Room. I'm like, what's it about? He's like, oh, it's about like telemarketing scams. And I'm like, oh, that's great. And so we picked like a Wednesday night or something. And it was just me and Eric and 2 black people, like a couple rows in front of us. And as soon as the movie started, Boiler Room was 2000, right?
Yeah.
There was a African-American themed movie like Booty Call or Fat Beach, something along those lines. And as soon as the movie started, the black guy's like, shit, this ain't whatever the movie was. So it was just me and Eric in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I just loved the movie. I mean, it's like Goodfellas to me, where I watch it anytime it's on and I never get bored. And
wow, dude, that's a big compliment, man.
Well, I'm not trying to kiss your ass because I get accused.
There's nothing wrong.
I don't know if you read your podcast reviews.
Sometimes I do.
Every now and then I'll just go, oh, I want to, you do it for people to enjoy. And then this one guy was like, I used to like this guy when he had like rock and roll guests on. Now he's just a blatant ass kisser. But
really?
What am I supposed to do? Like, get you over to my house and then I don't know, shit on the hundreds of movies you've done that I haven't. But I mean, the cast of Boiler Room to me, I guess, drew me in.
Mm-hmm.
And just like there's so many funny scenes, and like I related to that movie because it reminded me of the crew I started comedy with. It was just like a rat pack of 5 or 6 of us. Any room we walked into, we like took over. And
who'd you start comedy with?
A lot of open micers quit.
They did quit.
Oh yeah, I would say. I mean, I started so long ago. I really don't remember when I started. I'll guess 99.
Yeah.
I lost my parents 2 months apart in 98.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't mean to like bring the mood down, but
yeah.
I mean, that's what got me started. I was like, all right, I gotta get it together here. And then I just started open. My first time ever was at the Comedy Store, and I just wasn't ready. Looking back now, it's like
potluck.
Brody Stevens was the MC, and he made a kid cry. Looking back now, I think it's funny because you knew Brody,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, he talked about everyone knowing him, and this kid had bombed pretty badly, and this is in the dark days of the store. This is not the last couple of years, and Brody was like, and I can't do a good impression of him, but he's like, "Where are you from, kid?" And kid was like dejected. He's like, "San Diego." And Brody was like, "Well, that drive just got a lot longer." And I just thought, wow, this guy's a dick.
That is hilarious.
And the kid, I've never seen the kid since. I really think.
Oh, wow.
I'm not necessarily.
Well, he wasn't meant to be doing it.
Well, I mean.
You got to be able to get through that.
Because you, in your acting career, what did you audition? I think I read something like over 100 commercials before you booked one.
80. And then I got my 81st one.
And then, but like that's a lot of rejection, and that's nothing.
No, a ton of rejection. A ton of rejection. I started up here I started as a comedian too. Like, so, I mean, the amount of rejection on stage and doing I did the potluck. I remember my first potluck was in 1990. And that, I've thought the store went to like 4 a.m. I swear I had a spot at like 3:10 a.m.
It's possible.
And it was jammed. And I ate such a bag of dicks, but like it was still packed. And people, that was like, I had a shirt on, it was kind of paisley. And the first thing I do when I get up there, they go, "What's up? You ain't Vanilla Ice?" And just fucking just heckled the shit out of me. And I was like, I couldn't even get 2 words out.
But how did you deal with, I mean, because it's brutal rejection.
Yeah.
How do you deal? I mean, you obviously, your perseverance paid off.
Yeah, I think that you don't have anything else, you know, and it's kind of, you're doing what you love. I hate to seem nerdy but it's like the journey is the destination, you know? So it's like, if you do enjoy it, like getting to an open mic and getting 2 laughs is like, oh, I'm on the right path. And then like sitting with like one of your buddies afterwards at Mel's or Swingers, and then like you knew that a new line worked, and like just enough, just one little positive reinforcement from your colleagues or whatever, and then you've on the right way, but you have nothing else. I had nothing else.
Because you made the leap from Philly to LA, were you like, this is where I have to be to?
It's a long story, but the basic story
Tell it.
I somehow wanted to be involved in Hollywood. I was always a fan of comedy and movies and shit. I didn't even want to say I was a fan of actors or whatever. I didn't know anything. I just liked Hollywood, and I thought, well, there's something there, right? And I was drawn to it. So then I took a local acting class in Philly, and then from that local class, I got to meet people, and one of the people is my friend's mom, and she was like a local actress, and she was doing like plays and stuff, and she had a local commercial, a Jiffy Lube commercial with Bill Berge. You know Bill Berge? He was the linebacker for the Eagles.
Oh, absolutely.
And so he was like the Jiffy Lube guy in Philly. Long story, boring. She's like, there's a movie shooting in town. I'm like, a movie? What? And it was shooting in Delaware. And she's like, come with me at 5 a.m., bring these type of clothes, and blah, blah, blah. And I did. I met a second AD, and they're like, will you cut your hair? Boom. Do you have sweater vest? Boom. You know, okay, report tomorrow at 5 a.m., and you can come down. And the next day, I was a fucking extra, and the movie was Dead Poets Society.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that was my first crazy foray. Like I wanted to be around a couple movies shot in the area, but I didn't. I would just like be a looky-loo. And then I met somebody, and then yeah, dude, literally the next day, I was literally next to Robin Williams, and he was eating hummus with a baby carrot. Like I was like next to him at the craft service. It was bizarre, and I was at Domino's serving pizzas the night before.
And did you talk to him at all? Like
I just kind of like said a quote of Mork, but he kind of didn't hear it, and he just kept going. I was way weirded out.
And then what made you go, I got to go to LA? Because I find most people either go to New York or LA. What was it?
I was just, New York was too close. I had always seen all the stuff about how LA was. I loved LA. I loved it on movies. I loved it on TV. I loved John Hughes movies. And I just said, if I'm going to struggle, I just figure out I could struggle in LA easier.
Right.
And I said, I'm going to go to LA because there's a lot of productions. And my thought was, well, I got an extra job here. Well, there's 100 times more movies out there. I can probably get another extra job out there and be in the land of extras. I had no idea about acting. I was just, I'm going to be an extra. And that's why. So I took the plane and saved up.
But there are some people who make a living.
100%, dude. I was on for the first year of my life. That's all I wanted to do. And it was hard. It's actually hard because there's so many extras.
And it's brutal. You're not treated the best. Like you're herded around.
Yeah, but it's better. You're on set, dude. And over there's Eric Estrada. You're on set. And over there is, Ron Jeremy, when he was doing a crossover.
Not
You
anymore.
can't say that now, but
Golden Artist Entertainment.
Yeah. Is that what you were gonna say? But you're on set and you're seeing famous people. You're like, holy shit, this is insane. So you call in for your avails and then it's on. But it's hard because there's a lot of people competing to be extras.
Yeah, I find every facet of the entertainment business is so competitive. Like,
yes,
extras, it's kind of very dog eat dog to get the better extra.
It's true.
Roles. Stand up just to get on. I mean, obviously you're not doing open mics, but like there's still like to get on at the good open mics, or I mean, there's no easy part of this business, is there?
No, it's not, but it's changing so much.
How's it changed from like when you started? There really wasn't online stuff, and back then I think maybe you relied a little more on an agent or a manager to get you out there. Now you can do it on your own.
I would say that now you can just create your own thing, and if you build it, they will come, and people will find you if they're digging it. And it's just, this is like before you had to get tape.
Right.
And then you had to go and take it to the editing place, and then you had to get the tape dubbed, and then you had to have a guy edit the tape, and then you had to go and get mail and drop off the tape. I mean, there was so much physical manual labor just to get one tape out for somebody to watch you to reject you. Now they can just reject you with an email if they even open it.
Right.
So it's a lot easier.
Now, what was your first big break film-wise? How did you get it?
Well, I started getting those commercials. Like I had no commercials, and then I got one, and then that like happens, and you get another one, and then it just I went and got like 5 commercials, like from not having anything. And so then I started auditioning for stuff, and I got a guest spot on a TV show. And
what TV show?
There was a guy by the name of Ron Levitt. God rest his soul. He was the creator of Married with Children.
Oh, okay.
And Ron Levitt was kind of the cornerstone of the Fox network with that show, that and 21 Jump Street. And he then goes and gets on the WB. The WB starting like 10 years after Fox, and they bring Ron, and they're like, how can we make a hit show? And so he does a show that was like a Married with Children kind of sister called Unhappily Ever After, or brother show. And Bobcat was about a family or whatever, and they had a rabbit in the basement. I know they had like a rabbit in the basement that talked. And it was called Unhappily Ever After. And Bobcat was the voice of the rabbit. And one of my first roles was Stoney on that show. And Ron Levitt was the OG coolest motherfucker in Hollywood. Okay, so he was dating Jessica Hahn.
Good for him.
Yeah, and he would go hit balls at Witsit. And he had a real deep voice, and he smoked, I want to say he smoked like Newport menthols. Like he was just one after the other. And he was like, how are you, Jamie? Like, what do you got? What do you got? And when you laughed, he laughed. And when he didn't laugh, he would say, we got to punch that up. And he gave me his character, Stoney. I auditioned. I got it in the room. And Jessica was on set. And Jessica was, I owe a lot to her, actually. She was really instrumental. She's like, this guy's funny. You got to write him in more. So then they ended up writing me in like 3 or 4 episodes. And that just helped me immensely, because then from there, the same casting director cast a few big things. Tammy Billick, and she cast Ellen show. And then I got on Ellen. And I was really fortunate. But I mean, I was struggling for a long time, but then when my opportunity came, I was able to seize it.
It's funny you mentioned Married with Children. I'm a big Miami Vice guy, and Ed O'Neill was in season 1, and maybe the greatest episode ever. It was a serious role, and it was just like,
he's such a good actor.
Yeah, no, he doesn't get the credit because he's Al Bundy, but
He's so much more than Al Bundy. I mean, he's so good on Modern Family, but you're right. He has some dramatic turns that are really good.
yeah, he played a DEA guy who'd gone rogue. And you also mentioned Eric Estrada. I was once at Best Buy, and he was wearing a blue shirt. I didn't know it was him because he had his back to me. I said, "Hey, man, you know where the CDs are?" And he turned around. I'm like, "Oh, sorry, dude."
Oh, you thought he were? Oh,
I thought he worked there, and he showed me
yeah.
where the CDs were. Like, he actually took me to.
He's sweet. That's sweet.
So, Scream, would that be like your
Scream was like
breakout? Like, oh my god, I'm in a fat movie.
Yeah, that was like my second movie. My first movie was Romeo and Juliet, which I got to audition for multiple times after I started getting some TV stuff. So you start getting in rooms. And then from there, after many auditions, I got Scream. And Scream was why it's kind of one of those things that when something works in Hollywood, it's because there's less interference.
Right.
And it was like this little horror movie, basically the Weinstein brothers.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, he's right. Well,
you've worked with some dudes.
Yeah, I know. But it didn't use.
You got in right before the storm.
Yeah, right before the storm, about 20 years before. And they had Miramax, which was the hottest every year as a new Oscar. And so they're like, look, these movies are good, but I want to make a commercial one too that just make money too. And so Bob decided they were going to open up Dimension, which was like the more genre. So they're going to make comedies and stuff like that and horror. So Scream was like their first horror thing out of the gate. Right after, the Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino movie, the Dusk Till Dawn. That was like their first one.
Right.
And then Scream. And so Scream was like this little movie and they made it for like $10 million. And we all thought, this could be cool, like this would be neat, like, but like we didn't know. We thought, well, if it came out and then like did good on VHS,
right,
I'd have a new life. We had no idea, but we knew it was good. And then once it just, no one knew anything about it, and it just slowly blew up. I remember going to Westwood to the Bruin.
Oh my god!
Every weekend to check it, and each weekend it was fuller. So like by the fifth weekend, it was like sold out. I was like, what the fuck? This is insane. Like it was like my second movie. So it would just be packed at the Bruin. And because you know what that is. That's the Mecca.
It's like,
and it's like, I was like, and the Bruin was like, dude, we can't keep enough tickets. And I was like, and so it was like 5 weeks just getting more popular.
I mean, I don't want to get too local for the out of town list.
But everybody knows that.
It's the Bruin right across the Fox.
Yep.
In the 80s and 90s, in any big movie premiere was either at the Bruin or the Fox. I mean,
everything. I was with the Matrix 2 premiere. I was there. The James Bond, the one I forget, like the 97 one. I was there. But just every movie was there, dude.
I mean, that's when people like. What I sound old saying this, but like Westwood used to be the place. Like, to take dates, to go to any movie, now I think there was a shooting there.
There was a shooting and it ruined the vibe.
I think right before Scream, like maybe 89.
Yes.
An Asian student died, unfortunately. And then I think people started migrating to the 3rd Street Promenade.
Yes.
And which was fun at times, but it just wasn't the same. Westwood was just like.
Westwood was the place where everybody hung. And it was like safe and sweet.
Yeah, it was like there's no crime.
No,
like the Hare Krishners are running around.
Yes,
well, you are the second cast member of Scream to sit on this couch.
I mean, guess who the other one is?
Well, before you do, I want you to know I ask a lot of celebrities to come on. 90% say no. So,
do you DM them?
Yes, I DM them. Instagram now has become maybe my preferred mode, because I know it's weird to be like, who the fuck is this guy asking me to come to his house? And like, I don't know this clown. Unless you've watched Roast Battle, I don't think you're gonna know who I am. So I get why people say no, but this person said yes instantly. And take a guess at who they were.
David.
Yes,
I knew it was David. David, do you know David?
We do now. He saw me once at the Comedy Store, and I'm a big pro wrestling guy, for better or worse. And I think I was doing jokes about Sting, the wrestler, and this is, he was he came to the store, and he was a little wild that night.
Yeah.
I think he might have been in a bad place, but he was still very cool to everyone. And I was the only one who, everyone's bugging him about Scream and his sisters and Courtney Cox, and I was like, hey, I want to talk to you about wrestling. And
he loved
I
that.
was like, will you come on my podcast? He said, yeah, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, oh, I don't know, interviewing you. And he said 2:00, and at 1:59 there's a knock on my door. Like, I was so impressed by his, I guess, professionalism.
Oh, he's the best, dude. David is the kindest guy.
Yeah.
And he'll show. He's very professional.
Like, I don't know how he got into this building, because this is kind of a high security building for, the area. And I just watched his documentary.
I have to watch it.
It's amazing. It's wrestling heavy, just because that's what he's like. It's called You Can't Kill David Arquette.
Yeah.
And like, if you're not like a pro wrestling freak, it might be not boring, but you might go in and out of the interest just because it's so focused on pro wrestling and his return.
Yeah.
But it's really sad at times, because he's beating his body up again, and he got a lot of shit for winning the title.
Dude, he does it though. I've seen him. I've seen the cuts. I've been with him in events. Like,
oh, he's amazing.
He really does it, and he goes, and there's nothing fake about it. He's doing those falls.
Oh yeah, I mean it's because he, right around the time of Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Just a wrestling movie. I think someone from WCW, which was the main competition, you're probably learning way too much about wrestling right now, but they were like second to WWE, and they said, well, let's put the title on him. And he didn't want it because he knew fans would hate him. So, and then they put it on him.
What just happened to your glasses?
Dude, these are my reading glasses.
Dude, you fucking, for people at home, your glasses are just coming apart.
So I'll put these back on. I'm trying to read. Dude, you've got like 1,000 credits. I'm trying to.
It's all good.
I mean, it's out of control right now.
Dude, you got those Bob Evans, though. Everyone must say that.
Well, these are my Ace Rothstein glasses from Casino when he was juggling at the end.
Yes.
And then these are my Bob Evans on set in 65. But yeah, no, David was like so amazing, and I root for him, and
he's a great guy.
All right, back to you.
Back to me.
So Scream happens, it blows up.
Yes.
And then I'm assuming your offers for bigger and better movies and TV. I mean, how soon after the success of Scream does your agents go, hey, dude, you got some work coming?
That, you know what? They kind of do and they kind of don't. Like, I didn't know what was next. So I started auditioning a lot. And then through auditioning, I started getting some roles. And then I didn't know that even Scream 2 was going to happen. And then when it did, I was a big part for me. And that really helped push me into the more. And so, but I auditioned a ton for a lot of stuff, and I started getting stuff. And so, but it wasn't like offers. I didn't get offers for a long time.
Did you? I mean, because I don't think people realize that even someone like you after Scream still gets turned down for stuff, like
all the time.
Like, I think they just think, oh, you wake up, you don't even audition, you just show up. Okay, I'm here. I was in Scream. Where do I go?
Dude, I was talking about this today. It's so weird, especially now, because the business wants you to like self-tape through Zoom, right? So do you act?
I'm more into voiceovers. Like
so it's the same type of deal, but on camera.
That I love. The voiceovers from home, with this setup is
it's good.
But it's hard because you don't really get direction. It's just you get the little breakdown. Okay, we need a bad guy voice.
Yeah.
don't be too over the top. Well, what does that mean?
I know. So now we do this on Zoom, and the Zoom is you do it, and then they look at your tape. But it's like, I've already done like so much stuff. What do you need to see? Like, and so I shouldn't have to audition as much as I do, but I still do get some offers. But it's like, but now that it's much more colder. It's just like, unless you're certain people that's part of getting the movie greenlit, the rest of us are still having to dance for our dinner.
And that's you. You've been a working actor for 31 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you still have to do a Zoom audition. That's crazy to me. Like, what do they need to see?
I do. But I do get some offers, but they're usually independents. Like anything in the studio system, anything with one of the big streamers, I have to read my face off. Now, it doesn't mean that, other people do too. We all do. So it's, I know, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I'm happy to do it, but it's like at some point, my brother's like, dude, don't they know you can act anymore? Like, how much more do you have to do? And it's just, it's what's weird about the business now. People are overthinking. There's never been more outlets, but never been more overthinking.
I think there's so much garbage out there.
Dude, there's so much stuff.
I mean, you wonder how things don't last. And like, I was a huge fan of this Ray Liotta show on CBS called Smith.
Was it good?
He ran a bank robbing crew, and it was, I guess Simon Baker might have been the Mentalist guy.
Yeah.
He might have been the second most famous person in it. Virginia Madsen.
Yeah.
And a great script, great cast, I thought it was a good storyline. And they didn't even finish the first season. They just cut it like 3 episodes in. But Big Brother's on the air for 25 seasons. Like,
yeah,
I don't get
dude.
that.
Dude, that's why the business, it's great though. It's a great time. You do what you do and your fans will fuck with you.
I agree with that. I mean, I remember, when Rogan just had this small podcast, but he, like, every day his fan base grew and grew and grew. But he was always kind of famous, but like he got to that next level just almost day by day. It just grew and grew. And,
yeah.
Like, I think that's what we all want.
Yeah, I mean, but it's so, yeah, it's beautiful. Look at what his is, just complete attrition and hard work, and it's like, I think that's what this whole podcasting and YouTubing is, and I love it. I love taking control of my own shit. I still like to audition. I'd rather you just throw me an offer, but
right. Do you find you're almost too, like, when you walk in? Well, I guess no one walks into an audition room now, but like, when life goes back to being normal, or even on Zoom, do you find casting directors look at you and go, "Oh, that's the guy from Scream"? Does it help or hurt you, like, being in such a big movie or franchise?
I actually had somebody tell me the other day, like, you gotta, like, because I have all different scenes in them, in like
Right.
this, people want to look at stuff, and they're like, yeah, you can take the Scream scenes off. And I'm like, I don't even know what was on there. It was like some reel online. And I go, okay. She's like, I mean, because it's great, but it's 25 years ago. And I go, well, I don't know. That's what my agent had on there. And they're like, yeah, you want to take that off and keep more current stuff. I'm like, well, all right. But I didn't even know. It's like, it can hurt you. It's like, it's more like the fans love it. And the town is more like, well, have you gone in for Bridgerton? Like, did you do the newest FXXX show? It's like, that's where we're at. It's like, they are literally like, what have you done for me in the last hour?
Right.
Pedigree is like few and far between of legacy.
Well, you just have so much good shit on your resume.
I appreciate that, bro.
And once again, like, Boiler Room was not, it was would you call it a dark comedy?
Dude, first of all, let me give you a little history on that. I love that. I love that you say that. So wait, so you tell me, and then I'm going to tell you. So you go in the movie theater not knowing anything.
Not knowing anything.
And you went with another producer or director.
He was at the time an assistant for Scott Rudin and Hertzfeld. He was like a freelancer, and all his friends and him were the ones who got me into stand up.
What does he do now?
He is like the new Tony Robbins.
Okay, he's a self-helper.
But he's a very driven person, so he will succeed on some level in that field. But he was the one who's like, dude, just get into stand up. You're funnier than any of the people I work with, and all that stuff. But he really wanted to see Boiler Room, and I just remember going, this reminds me of my group of friends.
So let me tell you what happened. So at that time I was doing, different movies, and it was like the way I like to do it. You just go from movie to movie to movie. You're on a set, you're auditioning, you fly in to meet the director, and then when that movie's wrapping up, then you find out if you got another movie, and it's awesome, right? And that's when they were making more movies per se that were just coming out in theaters. And so Boiler Room was like this young, amazing director, Ben Younger, and he's a young auteur, he was a writer, director, producer, and an actor too. And he worked at a chop shop, as we say. It's a fucking chop shop. And he's like, it was a crazy experience. And so I'm like, where was this? He was like, oh, it was in fucking off the LIE or whatever. He works for Jordan Belfort. I believe he worked in one of Jordan Belfort's rooms. So that was a fictional take on his experiences in The Wolf of Wall Street. Now, obviously, he put his other stuff in there. I don't know what's true and what isn't. Then The Wolf of Wall Street comes out 13 years later, and that was based on the actual account. So that's what's kind of crazy about that universe. So when I went in, I met with him, and it was just one of those movies that why it worked, like you're saying, is because it just clicked. You got a young guy who's a real hardcore New York kid. I think he was from Queens, and he just knew the game. He knew the hustle. He's this total hip hop head. He knows the downest hip hop, and he was a great writer and a great director. And so like he was given an X amount of money to do it. And the young producers, the Todd sisters, who are very big producers, they produced all the Austin Powers and the Alice in Wonderland. But this was a real artistic, lower budget movie, and they said, we're gonna protect you, and they protected him, and he hired who he wanted, and the studio kind of let him. So he hired all these young guys, and we all kind of knew each other, kind of like how like young comics when you're coming up, you're all together, and we just had New York. We had like 8 weeks in a hotel in like Soho, and we just ran it, and we were kind of living what we were doing.
Well, I think what I liked most about it was like when I watched Sons of Anarchy, you could tell the cast liked each other. Like, it's weird to look at a TV screen and then you could, on the opposite, you could like, I'm a big Stallone guy.
Yeah,
and, I was watching his movie Nighthawks, which is
you love that one.
Yeah, it's a very he's done so much work that it kind of falls under the radar, I guess. But you could tell him and Rutger Hauer did not like each other in real life. You could just feel it. And it worked because for that movie, Rutger Hauer was a terrorist and Stallone's the cop trying to get him. But like with Boiler Room, you could tell you guys were friends. Like,
yeah, dude, we laughed all day, and we had guys. The director really let us improvise, dude. We improvised a fucking lot of the movie, and we also said his lines, but we had fun, and we would have big meals down in the city at 2 a.m. and then we'd stay up all night and go to work at 5:30, and the whole thing, taken in New York with per diem.
Now I gotta ask you this: that once, and I know this is one scene from one movie you did 21 years
I'm
ago.
glad it's hard to remember. Well, go ahead.
When you guys are arguing with the gay table next door or next to you guys.
Wait, you brought that up on Twitter. I just kind of forgot that scene.
It's the funniest fucking scene. Pardon my language.
I gotta remember this.
It's the scene. I can almost say it line by line. You guys are like being loud at your table, and then and I know he must be an improv actor.
Was it Nikki?
No, it was more Scott Conn
Scotty
being out of control, and then the gay table next to you guys, the one main, he was almost like the leader of the table. He's like, excuse me, you're at a 10. I could use you at a 2.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
And then, well, you had a good line in this because Scott Conn says something to the effect of, you know what? I want to put you guys all on an island, all of you. And the main gay guy's like, guess what? You're on it. And then you say to Scott Conn, he got you there. I'm sorry, man. It was just like, you could tell you guys even had chemistry with those 4 actors who were day players in that one scene.
Yeah. Dude, I do remember that scene. That was so fun. Yeah, they were. Everybody on that movie was like down to play.
Now, you mentioned like Scream, you kind of knew it was going to be good. Like when you're doing a movie like Boiler Room, where, I mean, I don't mean this in an insulting way, but kind of an independent film, I guess.
Lower budget, but a studio film. But like I said, it was going to more of an arty. It had a smaller release in the beginning, and then it kind of branched out to a bigger release. But yeah, it was more of like an artistic film, but it was still a studio film
because it became like a cult,
huge cult.
You know, like I said, it's still on in regular rotation, and like to me, I view it like Goodfellas or Casino, where I just anytime it's on, no matter what point, I watch it. And
dude, I love that you say that because to me, it is a comedy. It's what it's what comedy should be. It's played real. It is real. We improvise a lot of shit. And like, you know, the cocaine scene, they just kind of put the camera on me and they're like, go for it. And I just fucking did. And I mean, there's stuff I could tell you, probably have to tell you off air. You know what I mean? Well, you know, isn't that sad that we live in that time? Remember, we used to be able to tell tales.
Different era now.
I know. But it was like New York hotel shooting all night. It was great.
Be quiet. I think we should. See, this would be a better podcast. Like, but you can't. You have too much to lose.
It's not bad. It's not bad, but you can't even say, you know, the word cinnamon now. I mean, you know what I'm saying.
Well, they asked me, the Comedy Store messaged me the other day and said, hey, we want to put one of your roast battles on the Instagram page. Which one do you want? And I'm like, none of them. Like with the jokes we were saying, like.
Really? Well, it's good press for you, dude.
Yeah, I'm definitely not in the position to turn down work. I mean, Porky's 5 was out. I would be cold calling the director. But, you know.
The jokes for that,
jokes were pretty
yeah, rough. But see, dude, that's what roast battle is.
I know you get it.
But it's like, that's supposed to be the safe space.
Well, back in 2015, I think that's why the show was so successful, was because there wasn't really a show out there on TV or movies that was like going for that Archie Bunker type of humor.
Yeah.
And, but, you know, they said, well, why don't we put your battle against the gay guy you fought in Montreal? His name's Tom Ballard. He's just brilliant Australian comic. And I'm like, I know that's the one Kevin Hart and David Spade were judging. And I had a joke that, I mean, they're just all pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
Like you can't put that out there anymore.
Yeah. So, what do you think is going to happen, dude?
I mean,
do you think the word "I'm kidding" will become extinct?
I mean, I think any one of us, especially you, because you, like, you've been a working actor for 31 years. I mean, I've just been semi-successful for like the last 3 years, but not on your level. But someone like you, I'm looking at your IMDb right now. It's literally 100+ movies, TV shows. Someone could pick out one line from one movie and go, Jamie Kennedy is this, that.
Yes.
Which is scary.
Yes, it is. It really is. And this is the time where you have to build your autonomy. But you're right. It is. It's weird.
I mean, it's scary. It's weird. Like, you know, when the Comedy Store called me, I'm like, hey, listen, I'm in an all-black cartoon right now. I'm the only white guy on it. Like, I can't have anything.
What cartoon?
It's that one that's on the wall. It's Tyler the Creator's The Jellies.
Oh, where's that playing? Hulu?
Adult Swim, and it just got picked up for on HBO Max.
That's great.
But like in that, see, the glasses are breaking.
Yeah, everything.
But that cartoon goes for it. Tyler's sense of humor is
he's got a good sense of humor.
Well, it's very South Park.
Yeah,
and
so that means everything. The gloves are off.
Pretty much, he's like the African American version of Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Mm-hmm.
He goes for it.
Mm-hmm.
But when the Comedy Store reached out to me, I'm like, dude, I can't have anything racial out there. It's just I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a very like my first comedy influence was Archie Bunker.
Yeah,
not for what he was saying, but for what he was saying, but you still liked him.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
So, I mean, for someone like you just have too much to lose.
I know. I think so. Like, it's weird because it's just like I think we live in a place now where you don't even get just people are just so like, oh, this is this. They don't look at anything in context. Nuance is out the window. And if you did make a mistake to repent or whatever, is like they don't even want to, people do not want to give second chances or like even discussions. There's no discussions.
See, I think they do, depending on who it is.
Yeah, you're right.
And like OJ, I wouldn't say networks gave him a second chance, but like Fox put him on that one primetime show. I think American Idol was debuting on another network, and they were like, well, let's do an OJ special. And so he was kind of like put back in the spotlight.
But it was an OJ about the OJ trial. It wasn't like him doing a guest spot on a sitcom.
It wasn't the OJ Simpson experiment.
Exactly. But he did get a special. You're right. He did get airtime.
But like if you look at a lot of the people who were Me Too, say last year, I think some will be given a second chance, some won't.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Which is really scary because you tour a lot, or you when life was like normal, one girl could say, well, he did a joke that was offensive to me. Like have you ever seen in all your years of successful, your career, have you ever seen an era like this where you're almost afraid to say anything?
I'm not scared to say stuff on stage, but I would think recently if you say something on stage and then somebody tapes it, that is weird now, which I would never have been thought of before because the people would just, well, you're at a club, but people have no frame of reference anymore. They don't understand that that's the gym of jokes,
Right.
So that's the safe place. So that is a little, that's weird, very weird, I guess, but that would be the last bastion. But it's what's really weird is just like online, if you like even like something that people don't agree with, just give it a heart, you could get attacked, or leave a comment for somebody that's not what they consider popular, you can get attacked. So I've never seen that before, and I'm thinking we're going to this place where like, yo, you got to be on the same page with people, like in a lot of ways. And I'm not, whatever, politically, whatever. You got to kind of have to be like that. And then if not, it's just going to be no bueno. And so that's keeping a lot of people quiet, and that's keeping a lot of people hiding. And I think I think Hollywood could edge itself out in the sense that there's going to be splits, because people are going to be like, yo, I'm not like that. Like, you can't just, because I had one thought like this doesn't mean I'm this, but they want to box you so much. So I think there's a lot of people in America that don't think like Hollywood. But I think there's also a lot of people in America that are not crazy right wing. They're just down the middle. Maybe they have certain views of the right and certain views of the left. But if Hollywood gets more extreme, I think that could be a very interesting. I don't know what's going to happen. And that's like, yeah.
Well, you interviewed George Lucas for Heckler.
I had him in Heckler, yes. And that was an amazing story. So
that's the king.
He is the king.
He
is the king, dude. We were doing I was doing a video with Bob Saget, and so we were shooting this music video, and somebody's on the set, and they go, "Yo, what's Michael McDonald doing here?" And they're like, "What? That's not Michael McDonald." And somebody goes, "That's Lucas." And somebody's like, "Yo, that's George Lucas." And we were on our set, and George Lucas was such a film dude. And at the time, it was like 05, 06, and we were using like what they call the red camera, and that was like a big, like advanced, like digital camera. And so George was just sitting there talking to one of the camera operators, like, "Hey, what's your split diopter or whatever?" And the guy's like, "Oh," and he didn't realize it. And my fucking guy's like, "Yo, dude, George Lucas is on our set." I'm like, "What?" And he's like, "Bob, George Lucas is on the set." And he's like, "Is it?" I go, "Get him to be in the video." And he goes, "Hey, Lucas, what are you doing on this set?" Like, fucking George is like, "Oh, hey, all right." And fucking George Lucas came over, and they started talking digital stuff, and fucking bam, he did the video. And that's how I got him to Heckler, because I was interviewing people at Heckler at the time too. And so I said, "Can you do this other interview?" And he did. And turns out that not everyone knows it now, but I knew Musso and Frank's forever. I'm sure you did. Oh. Musso and Frank's is like his spot. So he would go there, I think like every Wednesday or Thursday, get the same meal, meet his daughter for lunch. And then he walks around like he's a real Hollywood guy. He loves old Hollywood. And Musso and Frank's is great. And so he would go and have lunch, and then we were shooting right next to it. And he was like, "What's going on?" And so he just loves sets. And that's how he got him in the thing.
Well, I mean,
it's crazy.
Yeah, he's just like, just those first 3 Star Wars.
I forget it, bro. It's insane.
Like, which were the middle 3, but like anyone else would do what he did with the first 6 films. We'd show the middle 3 first.
He showed the middle 3 first, dude. And the universe is just like ever expanding.
And you would think like you're much more involved with filmmaking than I am, but I would think, well, wait a minute, if you show the middle 3, or if you show the first 3, and that's really the middle 3, then people aren't going to know what the hell you're talking about. And then when they see the middle 3 backwards, that they're going to know what happens at the end. Like, I think it's worked out pretty good for them.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't even know they were the middle 3, but you're right. They are the middle 3.
And then, I'm a Star Wars nerd. And like,
yeah,
those last couple were a little on the rough side.
But he didn't do them.
Well, he sold it to like Disney, and then I think was it J.J. Abrams?
Yeah,
did, and
I thought they were good throwback feeling.
I mean, I like the ones with Chewbacca. I'm a Chewbacca mark.
Yeah, you are.
Because I just, it's Chewbacca, man. He's like the king. And I mean, if you see the autograph,
you have it right there.
Autographed too by the guy.
Did you go to a
went to like a convention?
Yeah, wow, you do have that.
I like called him Mr. Chewbacca. I think his name was David Prowse.
Yes, God rest his soul. I think he passed.
I think Darth Vader, not James Earl Jones, but the actual actor who I'm drawing a blank on. He just passed. I think maybe a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
I called him Mr. Chewbacca. Like I was so starstruck.
Wow.
It's like when I met
Mr. Chewbacca.
I don't get starstruck often because, certainly in stand-up, we're around, especially at the Comedy Store, there's someone famous
all the time.
Rogan's in that corner, you're in that corner, Jim Carrey's walking around, Jay Leno's pulling up on his, $200,000 bicycle. But I've only been starstruck twice, when I met Chewbacca and the wrestler, the Ultimate Warrior.
Really? Did he come to the store?
No, he was doing an autograph signing right up the street. There was like a very it was like a punk type of record store. It didn't really fit on Sunset and San Vicente, and I guess his manager owned the shop, so they did a signing there. So I went there, and I was last in line, and my buddy was his entertainment lawyer, and he's like, "Dude, you don't want to meet him. He's kind of a dick." And I'm like, it's Ultimate Warrior. I'm gonna stand in line, and I was like literally the 300th person in line. I get up there, and I'm dreading it because I'm like, he's got to be exhausted. He's probably 55, 54 at the time, and I get up there, dude. He was in full regalia, like the makeup, the tights, the armbands.
Oh wow!
He had this wild coat on, trench coat. This painting, like this thing had to cost 20 grand, like a Ric Flair type robe.
Yeah,
and he couldn't have been any nicer. Like, he was so nice and like humble. And I was so, it was like meeting Superman. I just kept calling him Mr. Warrior.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Earl, would you like a picture?" I'm like, "Yes, Mr. Warrior." And then he's like, "Do you want some?" He had like all this merch. He's like, "Do you want these sweats and the hoodie?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't pay for that, Mr. Warrior." He's like, give Earl my stuff." And it's just like, and then
he hooked you up?
He hooked me up. Never met me before. And
how much did he give you?
He probably gave me like $500 worth of stuff.
What?
And but it was like, I don't get starstruck. Like,
how did he give you all that stuff?
I don't know, he's probably tired and didn't know what he was doing.
Where did he have the signing?
At the punk store. It's not there anymore now. I think it's like a barber shop, but it was in the back of the store, and I think TMZ was there filming, so maybe he just wanted to do it to look like a good guy, because he didn't have the best reputation, to be honest with you.
Dude.
But it's like, it's weird that you think, when I met Jim Carrey at the store, when he was judging Roast Battle one night, and like, I wasn't that, obviously he's an idol, but I don't know, I was more starstruck at meeting a pro wrestler than I was one of the greatest living comic
of all time.
Whatever you want, actor, comic, whatever.
Yeah.
So have you ever been starstruck given all the people you've worked with?
Oh, definitely. I got to work on a movie called Bowfinger.
Warren Beatty?
No, that was Bulworth.
My bad.
I auditioned a lot for that. I like that movie. Bowfinger was Steve Martin and Eddie Murphy.
Oh, man.
And I was in that movie, and that was very, very, like, every day I was in like a PhD comedy program.
I mean, those are top 5.
Yeah, of course. I know. Like, yeah.
Both of them.
Oh yeah. So it's yeah. That was pretty intense.
Yeah, I mean, all the people you've worked with, and like, he's not going to get starstruck, but like, I think everyone.
Listen. I've had a lot of starstruck in this, and then you get used to it. You see the person, but then once you start working enough, you have that minute. I got to do a couple scenes with Brad Pitt, and I was like, wow. And then then I was in it. You know what I mean? But the first initial thing is because you're meeting like a very rare, type of safari animal. These are rare people. You know what I mean?
Especially in LA, like, we're around, you can go anywhere and there's someone famous. Like,
yeah. But you and I probably are in the same vein of we really, we're going to get starstruck off of people with a long list of pedigree. You know what I mean? I love, the show Sunset Tan. I'm not going to freak.
Obsessed.
I'm not going to freak out if I see, the star of that.
But see, I do.
Yeah, but you're true. I'm not an elitist, but I'm saying but I'm still a movie star guy, a rock star guy, a TV star guy, I mean, it's, if I see Seinfeld, even though he's on the circuit, that's just an icon of TV. I'm going to still be freaked out. You know what I mean? That's a television icon.
But I get freaked out, and I don't think it's starstruck at, like, about a year. I'm obsessed with Showgirls, the movie.
Yes. Who'd you see? You saw Elizabeth?
It was a religious moment.
Oh, boy, I can hear
and
this.
He doesn't look anywhere near like he did in Showgirls. The guy, his name was Tony Moss in the
I
movie.
know that name.
He was the kind of they never really classified him as gay, but he was like the showgirls. He was in charge of the show.
Okay.
Good looking guy. He was in LA Law before, so he he wasn't the choreographer, but he was like that. He was in charge of the show, and his name's Alan Racine,
oh yeah. He's a really good actor.
and he was at Whole Foods, and he's a little older now, and I think in Showgirls he might have had a wig on, and I'm not cracking on him, like but he didn't have one on at Whole Foods, and I'm like, oh my God, you're Tony Moss. And he looked at me like, what are you talking about? My name's Alan. I'm like, no, it's not, man.
He didn't even remember his character's name.
And then I went right into his scene. There's a great scene. It's very much like the scene in Boiler Room I referenced, where he has all the girls line up and he just critiques them. And he's so mean. He's like, Marty, take a look at these tits. This is the stage, babe, not a patch. See ya. I bet you can't spell MGM backwards. And he's just like roasting every girl. And he didn't know what the hell I was talking about. Like, he's just like, get out of my face, dude.
And he
laughed and said, oh, thank you. It was a long time ago.
You know what's crazy is that how old are you?
I'm 52. So.
You're 52. You're a Kennedy, whatever you want to say.
Side.
Adjacent.
Yeah.
Kennedy adjacent. You grew up in Bel Air. Were your family in the business? Had to be.
No, to be honest with you, my dad was in the oil business, I guess you'd say, and mom was just a hillbilly with money from Cartersville, Georgia.
Okay.
No, but like I said, the neighborhood, like Harry Nielsen, was my dad's drinking partner.
That's great.
And when I say, drinking, I don't mean a couple beers. I mean, they'd go to the Bel Air Hotel, or, they would drop me off at Bel Air Country Club because I was a golfer back then, and just leave me and then go drink.
Do you still golf, by the way?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. I love golf, but Bel Air.
I got in trouble at Bel Air for my belt not being like literally.
Oh, they're hardcore.
Yeah, I loved it. It was incredible. But
well, even that. But if someone saw Malibu's Most Wanted today, they could be like, he's kind of doing that white guy acting black thing.
What I just had somebody say this to me on Twitter that the Malibu's is racial. What is it? Appropriate race appropriation, and I want to say it's the race appreciation because it's all about a guy that loves hip hop,
right?
But they'll probably come, and some people will complain, but it'll probably be like white women from Berkeley.
Now, and it kind of falls in line with heckler. Like I know. Some people answer their trolls. Like I know back in the day, Chris D'Elia would actually converse with them. And I don't have that many, certainly not trolls like you or he did. Like, do you interact with people who's like, oh, you this, you that?
I do, but it's too much work. It's like a lot of work. And so honestly, I'm like trying to be, I just like to do good stuff and like be positive. So it's like, but if like a troll gets you, sometimes they get you and you're like, oh man, all right, well, I gotta like fucking like answer them. So sometimes they can get you, you can lose obviously to hecklers, but if they get under your skin and they win, they know it. And that just sucks.
But that was like what I loved about heckler was it kind of showed the two types of hecklers primarily.
Did you watch Heckler?
It's been a while, but yeah, I watch it because I'm obsessed with the psychology of a heckler. I don't get heckled much just because I'm a bigger, stranger looking dude. Like, so I think visually, people seem to not want to engage me in terms of, hey, you suck, buddy, or like whatever.
Here's the thing: is that Heckler was like such a love project, such a labor of love, in that it's kind of ahead of its time, bro. And now it's really affecting the world because it's just done. Like any like social discourse is done. Like we're cooked, man. And like now there's a new like no one like tries to like, oh, Earl, I disagree with you. Earl, you fucking lurch, fucking 6-foot lurch, motherfucker. Like, you know, right away, you fucking
right.
Yeah, I mean, you fucking Bel Air adjacent, fake Kennedy. I mean, like whatever. Like Jamie Kennedy, you know, you want to be fucking whatever they call me, every name in the book. And it's like, hold on, I just said that I didn't think that bread was as gluten-free as the other bread. I mean, they'll go for your throat. And it's just, it's there's no social discourse. And so now, you know what Clubhouse is?
The singer from Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup.
I love those guys.
I know you do, but I'm just saying, it's just.
He just asked me to join.
They're on. I'm just laughing because I was on there last night. I did see their thing.
But I don't know what it is.
So here's what, you know what Clubhouse is? It's this right now, but there's about 80 people listening.
Oh, and they can interact.
And well, then you can bring them into the stage and they can fucking join this conversation if you want. And then you pass the mic to them. But here's what's crazy. Are you ready? You know, people are fucking might have a couple glasses of wine, or it might be late, or it's the pandemic, so people are staying up all hours of the night. Fucking, there's so many people that are gonna get canceled on it. Because not only that, people are taking the conversations and screenshotting them, the videos, and putting them on YouTube and saying, oh, so-and-so was on. And so it's like, dude, it's in beta. I can't see how this isn't going to bring down American society.
Well, I
like it, but you got to like watch your P's and Q's.
Well, I did something with Jeff Richards. Do you know Jeff?
I love Jeff. I just had him on my pod.
He's amazing.
Yes.
He got me into this thing a couple years ago called Battle Cam.
Oh, I know. What is that?
Well, it's this billionaire by the name of...
I know what that is. It's the dude.
Alki Dave.
Alki. Is he a real billionaire? Alki.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Alki had the whole thing over in Beverly Hills across from Allegro.
Yes.
I went there. But Alki never paid, dude. Alki owes me money.
He did pay me. I'll give him that.
Where is Alki? Does he listen to this?
Well,
he should be funding stuff.
Well, he's just some rich dude who I think has like a 20-year-old girlfriend in Malibu.
Yeah, he literally owns like he owns like a mountain on Malibu.
And he was
Alki, he's a funny dude.
You know, he was always nice to me, but Jeff was like, hey, I need a co-host because they gang up on me and they just make fun of me because I got, you know, I think he's the only guy still to be, and I love him. I'm not like cracking on him, but he got fired from SNL and Mad TV. And so Battle Cam was like Clubhouse kind of.
I remember Battle Cam. Yes.
Well, people had shows on it. Like me and Jeff had I guess a talk show, you'd say. And who was the model, the crazy model from the 70s that sued Harvey?
Janice Dixon.
Yeah.
Janice.
I mean, she was nice to me, but like she was a little out there. She had a show, Kato Kalin, and
you were in the fucking All-Stars right there.
I don't know how I got in there. I mean, the only credit I had at that time was being in bench warmers for about 20 seconds. But the brutality of these people, they would call Jeff fat and loser.
They would go right through it.
Yeah, they would. It was like a free cam meets.
It was like a roast. The people were roasting you right to your face.
It was brutal, and I was so unknown at the time. Like I literally had one credit, and people were, "Who is this loser? He looks like Max Headroom." It's like, I got off kind of easy, but Jeff, they were just hammering. Like I could see someone like you or Jeff who actually has like credits. Like they would just pick apart every thing you did, but it was kind of fun, you know, at the time.
I remember that whole thing he had. He set up over there.
It was a great setup. I mean, I would say in the control room and the two like studios, there had to have been a couple $1 million worth of equipment.
Yeah.
But then I think he started getting into trouble. He tried to do his own TV network, and he was just like showing episodes of Friends, and he didn't really have the rights. And I'd be like, he had Miami Vice on. And I'm like, dude, how? Like, I thought this was like an NBC show.
I think I remember this dude. Where did he?
He's on TikTok now, killing it.
Alki.
Yeah, and then it's funny. I was watching this Jason Statham movie.
Wait, Manouche. You know Manouche?
Yeah.
I love Manouche.
She's awesome.
Yeah, she was Alky's like right hand. Manouche used to bring me in there.
Yeah, she was. We kept in touch for a while, but then I think she started. I think she was running from Alky because like she'd take these like really weird trips to like Abu Dhabi and just like
Yeah.
But she was like, I guess you'd say, in charge of the studio.
Yeah.
Alky was just like,
he was an entrepreneur. He was doing it. He was going to be like a disruptor of entertainment, and then I don't know. I think he stopped.
Well, I think he just got. I mean, I'm like, dude, aren't you worried that NBC and Michael Mann are going to sue you? And he's like, for what? I'm like, I don't know. I don't think you're supposed to be showing Miami Vice. It's not. You haven't paid for the rights. He's like, what the fuck do you care? I'm like, oh, I don't really care at all, to be honest with you. Like, sure. When does season 3 start? That's my favorite season.
See, this is what I love because you grew up in Bel Air in Hollywood, but you, like I was saying, you still got like starstruck by people you like. Oh, and that's what's cool. Like, you're not jaded. California's your home.
Well, I'm jaded. Like, the more I've been in this business, like, I think the more I don't call it bitter, but I call it the more honest I am now. I could see that, dude. But I just think I don't know about you, but the older I've gotten, the phoniness of the business has gotten me to speak up about it.
It's getting to dude, I'm there with you, dude. I'm like, if the demic is going to keep everything down, then I'm probably going to go all bets are off and just really be 100%. But it's hard because, you still got to work amongst these alligators, if you will. I mean, it's like, the swamp is getting, it's getting less and less, but we still do have unsavory characters in Hollywood that we have to deal with. Do you agree? And so I wish I could go around all day really saying my opinion, but so many fucking people get butthurt and who are in power. And there's a lot of idiots in power.
Oh my God.
I wish we could just be honest all fucking day. And then the beautiful thing about this and different things is like, let's just create our own thing and then worry about it. So I'm like straddling that line because my patience is gone, dude.
That's exactly how I feel. Like, when I wasn't treated well on Roast Battle, the TV show, so I spoke up about it. I'm like, I can't hold it in. I even though Comedy Central may never use me again, it's a bridge I don't want to burn, but I'm willing to. Look, I've done some work with Comedy Central. I enjoyed it, but I don't know if anybody's running the Comedy Central right now. No disrespect to Comedy Central. Oh no, I'd love to be on it, but like I was so mistreated on that show by several people and the network overall. I was like, I can't just hold it in. Like,
did you go online?
I just tweeted and Facebooked about it.
Oh, you did a diatribe.
I did a couple podcasts.
Oh, you burnt that hard. But probably a lot of people are out of it there who were there when you were there.
Well, I mean, probably the last straw was when they asked me to do the Roast Battle podcast in the Viacom building, and I just cut a wrestling promo for an hour, just calling out people I don't like on the show. I challenged Jeff Ross to a roast battle, and I was pretty colorful, and I didn't say anything wacky, but like I made it known my displeasure with him, and that might have been the final straw.
No, it sounds like a whole other subculture.
Oh, it's a whole.
I don't know,
but I think I got motivation from the Ultimate Warrior, which is not a good thing when you're getting motivation from a insane pro wrestler, but he was like the only wrestler to stand up to Vince McMahon and said, no, I'm not pleased with how you're treating me. I'm going to need 1 million. He did this at a pay-per-view where, I think they had his opponent go out to the ring, and Vince always stands right next to the curtain the wrestlers go out on to either say good work or good job or whatever. And the Ultimate Warrior is about to hear his name called, and he's like, I'm not going out there unless I get $1 million more. And
that's brilliant.
Because he felt that he was underpaid, and he listed his reasons, and he's like, my name gets called and you don't write on a contract that I get $1 more million, you're going to have an empty ring. and he did it. And then the match was over and he got fired. But
he didn't get the $1 million?
Yeah, he got the $1 million. Now, my motivation wasn't financial. My parents raised me in a very bizarre way. But the greatest thing they ever did was everyone's equal.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
I mean, my dad treated the caddies at Bel Air no differently than he did his billionaire golf friends.
Yeah.
Like I treat Russell Peters the same as I do an open mic comic, and vice versa. So I just I'm big on disrespect.
No, I hate disrespect, and no, I hate elitism.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, I get my place in the world of Hollywood, but like, I won't be treated like I'm just some flunky. But you know, sometimes you got to play the game too. I call it palming.
Yeah.
Like if you had a hot cartoon on right now and you were casting, I'm like, hey Jamie, how you doing? Got anything? Yeah, I hate it, but like I've learned almost 20 years later, you gotta like ask, which I hate.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But I've learned.
I don't at the moment.
Well, no,
you do.
Well, I mean, who knows? He's so famous or busy or whatever the right word is, Tyler, that, you know, I don't know if it's coming back or not. So,
yeah.
But he treats me amazing. Like it's that showed me the good side of the business because he just had his friends. I don't think anyone auditioned for the show. And, you know, he just, please, thank you. Hey, Earl, your voice is so deep. Can you maybe lighten it up a little bit? Oh yeah, no problem. Okay, great. That was great. Thank you. Like, I just love being. Who doesn't like being treated nice?
That's the best, dude.
Like, have you? You don't have to mention their name, but have you ever been in a film where the director, the producer, whoever, like, was kind of a dick to the cast? You don't have to mention the name. If you want to, you can.
It's not like really the. I'm trying to think. It's not really the actors or the producers or the director. It's more like the
PAs.
No, it's like
the AD.
There's just I've had stinkers in all walks of life,
right?
In the business, but it's not just one position that is a stinker. There can be a stinker that's a producer, but there can also be a stinker that's an actress, or there could be a stinker that's an actor, or there could be a stinker that's a hair person. I mean, we're all, everybody can have their moments, but for the most part, it's been pretty good. I'm trying to think of one specific one. It's usually when you work on the good stuff, that's not the problem. It's more of like when you work with lower budget, not to disrespect people, but you want to,
like Enemy of the State.
Yeah, Enemy of the State was a dream, dude. Water seeks its own level. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was just like walking in the Bel Air of making movies without the racist part. But
I mean, I'm a big Gene Hackman guy.
Yes.
I will cry when he died. I think he's born in 30s. Was he 80? No, 90 now.
Yeah.
Like, just like.
Dude, he's the best. I got to do the scene with him. And I have big hands. And we were in a scene, and it was him on one side and me in the middle, and Will Smith outside the car. And it was downtown LA, and it was shut, and it was raining, and it was 15 cameras. And he's like, no. He had to say something. He goes, wait here, or something like that, whatever that scene is. And Will's like, okay. And fucking his hand.
It's on the bridge.
Yes, it's bigger than my head, dude. And I have huge hands. And I'm like, this is the only dude I've met with bigger hands than me, like in Hollywood. And they were like mitts. And I remember then reading about him because I was always such a fucking fan, just like a super fan of his acting. But I think he was a Marine. And he was like a legit like Marine. And like, he is one of the best, how can I say it? he is one of the greatest people I've ever worked with in this. Besides the fact that he's just one of the amazing actors, is that you feel his energy right away, and you better be prepared to match it. He's just, he knows exactly what he's going to do in a scene, and he's amazing, and he's great. And when he's done with it, and he'll talk, and he's real calm. But when in the scene, you can just feel that he has the term subtext.
Right.
He doesn't talk in character; he becomes it.
Right.
Like, I feel it. Like, actually, like, I can become a character with voice and movement and shit, but I'm still aware of it. I actually believe it's like in his cells, like the intensity. He's as intense as anything I've ever met. Amazing.
Yeah, I mean, he was in my favorite war movie, which most people think Platoon or Apocalypse Now or Deer Hunter, but there's a smaller movie, Uncommon Valor.
Yes, dude. But he's also in. Was he in the Birdcage?
I think he was.
He's been in comedies, dude. He was in.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah, dude. He was in
anything.
The movie he did with Love. They were con artists, and he was in that.
I mean,
he's as funny as he is intense, and his comedy is intense funny.
I mean, he had these scenes in Uncommon Valor with Tex Cobb, who was a pretty famous boxer from.
Yeah,
he basically became famous by Larry Holmes killing him for 15 rounds, and Tex Cobb was just laughing at him, just like, hit me more, I'm going the full 15. You're not knocking me out. And he was so funny that he got on like the Tonight Show, and then he started getting movie work. And Gene Hackman, here he is with some boxer who's never acted in his life, and he made him look like an Oscar winner. Like, it was just, wow, that's a good actor when you can take an untrained, probably Tex Cobb was a partier, he's probably out drinking and doing blow all night, and you made him look on your level. It was like,
that's incredible.
And then I think it was Patrick Swayze's first movie.
Wow.
It's very Boiler Room-esque with it. It's such an amazing cast with Fred Ward, who's like in everything. And
I remember that came out around the time of like Hamburger Hill.
83.
I was before Platoon.
Yeah, it didn't get it didn't get the love that other war movies did, but like Robert Stack was in it. And
yeah, no, that's a known actors movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you and there was who else was in it? Reb Brown, who was like an 80s actor. He did some things. And
dude, I don't think Hackman. I heard this story that Hackman doesn't act anymore because he can't deal with how dumb people are in Hollywood.
Well, he's got to be. I mean, he's born in 1930, so he's 90 years old. I can't imagine him wanting to work a 12-hour day.
No, yeah.
Unless the role was so. I mean, I don't know what role could be enticing to someone like him who's done it all.
Dude, Ed Asner's in Cobra Kai, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, some people are just junkies, and. By the way, Cobra Kai the next season, I'm geeked out.
Wait, did you watch season 3?
I'm a big fan.
Dude, Cobra Kai is amazing.
But I'm a fan of Karate Kid 3.
I haven't seen that one.
It was like 1989, and Ralph Macchio didn't.
Wasn't that the one with?
It's the one. The actor's name is Thomas Ian Griffith. He was the main bad guy.
But who? Where's the one with dude, my brain is done. Dementia.
I have a Rain Man.
With the girl.
That was the one, Hilary Swank?
Yeah, Hilary Swank.
Well, there's 3. That was the next Karate Kid.
Is that after 3?
That was
okay.
Like, I want to say 94.
I just said the girl. Like, Hillary, my brain is done.
Well, dude, it's a lot of bull. You got a lot of stuff in your brain.
Yeah.
I have this almost bizarre
catalog.
I would be a great casting director because I just. But Karate Kid 3, I think the story had maybe gotten a little long in the tooth, the bad guy was so over the top, he made it. Like, it's a guilty pleasure movie. I don't think it did well at the box office, but he was so amazing in it. He played like a Trump type character who was very good. In real life, he's like a 10th degree black belt. So his fighting scenes were very realistic. The rumors are he's coming back.
Don't tell me.
I'm just saying.
Wait, did you watch all season 3 already?
Absolutely.
Dude, it's so good. I use that as a template when I talk about stuff because POV is everything.
Right.
And the POV is so switched in it. And they really is like, there's endless things they can do now. It's incredible.
Well, you know all the flashback scenes.
Incredible. Yeah. All that stuff with the war.
That was done to set up this guy's return.
Oh, don't even tell me.
No, but I'm not spoiling anything.
Okay.
But if like in Karate Kid 3, it starts off by Martin Kove, Sensei Kreese. He's down and out, and this guy is a billionaire. They probably only had him for like 4 days, so he flies Martin Kove out to like Hawaii. He says, "Have fun in Hawaii," and then he's not in any more of the movies, so it's just like a cameo. And so in Cobra Kai, the guy with the long hair in the flashback scenes is the bad guy from Karate Kid 3. So I think they're setting up his return, because if you remember, in the very last scene of Cobra Kai this season, he picks up the phone.
Yes, and he says, "I needed that favor."
And I don't think, to people like you who didn't see 3,
no,
you don't get it.
I left after 2.
A lot of people did.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. I was just starting to get busy in life.
Well, yeah, it's called working.
Yes, but 1 was...
I had a lot of time.
Yeah.
I've seen 3.
But 1 was...
You can't...
1 is, Rocky-esque. I mean, 1 shaped me.
I mean... It's just like it's I always say, Predator is the perfect action movie.
Yeah.
And I think Karate Kid is the perfect, I guess, coming of age / kind of action movie.
Yes.
Whatever you want to call it. So I mean, we grew up in a good era, man.
Dude. We grew up in the best era, dude. Think about it. Pat Morita. The people don't realize he was such a funny comedian.
Yeah, from Happy Days.
Yeah, but he was a big nightclub act.
Yeah, I mean, I think. Well, it's like I don't think you're such a big actor. I don't think people still realize. Oh, he does stand up.
Yeah, people don't realize
Does that bother you?
It used to, but it's comes with the territory.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it's a good.
Believe me, I'd love to have it.
Yeah, it's. A lot of people, look, a lot of people, they know you from what they know you from, so I'm lucky that they know me from my movies and TV. But the things that's funny is that how I got all the beginning of that stuff is that comedy clubs were casting people would see me. And then like a commercial agent saw me and had me come in. And that's how I got a commercial agent. So a lot of stuff came out of the comedy world.
Yeah. I mean, I used to open for Rob Schneider, and like, I don't think people even realize he did
He started as a stand-up,
but got so famous.
Yes,
like he didn't quit, but he was like, well,
he was busy.
I don't want to do a weekend at the Chuckle Bone in Jacksonville when I'm making whatever.
Yes, but comedy changed in the last 5 years, where now everybody who's ever done it, who's alive, comes out again, because you can build your audience, and so you can make your own shows and sell your own tickets, and so I think the community has changed so much and it's thriving, but it is filled with everybody. Yeah, comedy's never been hotter, I think.
Well, because you have a great podcast, and like
slowly getting there. Yes, thank you.
But you can say at the end of it, "Hey, this is Jamie. I'll be at the Comedy Store or on the road. I'll be at what's the big theater in Boston, the Wilbur Theater in Boston. And like that's a great way to sell tickets."
I think. Yeah, I agree, dude. I agree. I'm really digging it.
So, well, dude, I could talk to you all day.
Well, I appreciate you having me, man.
Dude, no, I mean, like, it means a lot to me, especially during a pandemic. Like,
you're far enough.
But I mean, I get it. You don't know. I mean,
I don't know. You said everything's sanitized. My lady's upstairs.
Yeah, she's upstairs. But like, she writes and produces Holy Moly, so she gets tested like 3 times a week. we can't have Robert Eagle getting sick. So like, come on, he's the breadwinner for a lot of people. So like, I'll say anything I can to make him feel comfortable. I literally dip these mics into like Lysol and
they look good.
Well, I mean, a lot of Tawny Kitane's touch these mics is, she's the real deal.
Yeah.
But thank you, dude, for doing this.
Dude, thank you, bro.
Not that you need my fans to follow you, but where would you like people to Twitter, Instagram? Is it at?
It's Instagram, the Jamie Kennedy, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff is just Jamie Kennedy.
Are you on TikTok?
I'm on TikTok too, Jamie Kennedy.
And Clubhouse?
Clubhouse, Jamie Kennedy. And you can listen to my podcast, Hate to Break It to You, Jamie Kennedy.
And that's Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, everywhere.
SoundCloud.
Spotify.
Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Jamie Kennedy came to my house.
Pandemic.
I get told no by a lot of people. He did not say no. And I want you guys to he doesn't need extra fans, but I'll
take them.
Hey, listen to this podcast. I don't know if you sell merch or anything.
Got merch.
At jamiekennedy.com.
They can go to my podcast and they'll see it. They'll sell hoodies and stuff.
I don't get $1 from these
Go
sales.
to jamiekennedy.com for other sales.
Just help him out.
Yeah.
He's a good dude. And, he don't need the money, but it's nice way to give back to him. Podcasts are no joke. We've been talking for almost an hour and 40 minutes.
Wow.
I'm sure this was not on your bucket list.
I'm enjoying it.
But so
we're probably related.
We might be.
Yeah.
And who knows? Maybe we'll do a cartoon together.
Who knows? I love that, man.
I mean, believe me, I'll work real cheap.
Yeah.
I'm 52. I'm beginning to think new faces ain't calling me. It's a fucking business. It's gonna kill me. Jamie, thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Inappropriate Earl, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, and when this is open up. Do you have any comedy shows coming up? The Rooftop? Anything you want to plug?
Oh, I got a show in San Diego, March. Oh, I got 2 shows there. March 6th, I'm going to be at the Grand Comedy Cafe in Escondido.
Okay.
And then I'm going to be in March 7th in Gilbert, Arizona, in some outdoor show.
Yeah, Arizona is like the Wild West for comedy shows. Like Schneider's there. Jimmy Kimmel's sister loves it there. So go see those shows. Go on, the podcast website for the tour dates and support Jamie because he didn't have to do this. I'm sure he doesn't want to talk about fucking Boiler Room.
I love it, dude. I appreciate it.
I mean, but come on. Hello, you're at a 10. I could use you about a 2. Inappropriate Earl. We'll be back next week with maybe one of the Village people.